The Health Secretary, Jeremy Hunt, in the news for a number of reasons, but he says he hopes that a review of the law on the medicinal use of cannabis oil will be completed within months. He was speaking after the government intervened to allow a 12-year-old boy with severe epilepsy to be treated with the drug. Billy Caldwell, you may have read about him. He's just been released from the Chelsea Westminster Hospital, where he's been cared for since his medication was confiscated by customs officials at Heathrow Airport last week. His mother, Charlotte Caldwell, says the law has got to be changed.
The fact that Billy has been discharged and is now with me is testament to the effectiveness of the treatment and underlines just how vital it is that every child and every single family affected should have immediate access to the very same medication.
That's Charlotte Caldwell. Let's go and talk to Clark French from the United Patients Alliance. Clark, evening to you.
Hello.
The law needs to change then, does it?
Absolutely. The law should have changed already. It is an absolute joke and disgrace that sick children and their parents are being forced to go to the media and being forced to show their lives in a way which they don't really need. It's difficult enough when you are sick. It's difficult enough being ill. I can't even imagine to begin to think what it must be like to be a parent of a child in that situation. And these parents just don't need that stress. The government needs to change the law now, and it needs to allow legal access to cannabis for these sick children who desperately need it, who stand to have a better quality of life if they get access to this legally. I don't understand why there's any question here whatsoever.
Charlotte Caldwell went abroad to get this cannabis oil, which has got THC in it, to treat her son. And when she gets back to the UK, it's confiscated. It's taken off her.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
I was at the airport going to meet Charlotte and Billy as they came back, and it's disgusting, to be honest with you. However, it is the government's fault. The customs officers are kind of forced to do that because of the law, because the government refuses to admit that cannabis has medicinal value. The government immediately needs to reschedule cannabis, take it out of Schedule 1, put it into a more appropriate schedule where researchers can do the tests on it, where we can prove that it has medicinal benefits. Currently, the government is happy to say that heroin has medicinal value. It's in Schedule 2, yet cannabis has none because it's in Schedule 1. It's an absolute joke. Theresa May really needs to get listening to the science and to the evidence and to the facts instead of religious dogma, which she sticks to, where bad people take drugs. Cannabis is a drug, therefore it's bad. It's ridiculous. This is a world of science, and she needs to listen to the truth and to the evidence.
I mean, Sajid Javid gave an emergency licence for an interim supply to be given to Billy Caldwell, but the rest is still held. I don't know whether it's going to be released to the Caldwell family. I'm not sure. But do you accept that some people might have concerns about using cannabis oil or not?
I think that we live in a world where cannabis has been demonised for an awfully long time by several sections in the media because it sells papers, unfortunately. And I think that we need to really separate what we're talking about here. We're talking about sick people accessing life-saving medicine. That's not what we're talking about. It isn't about cannabis. It doesn't matter that the thing that happens to do that is cannabis. What the government needs to do is listen to the evidence and change the law to reflect that evidence. Cannabis is a medicine. I know it is a medicine for my personal reasons because I have pain every single day. I have multiple sclerosis. When I consume cannabis, my pain is less. So when the government says that that isn't true and that cannabis has no medicinal value, I know that's wrong. And I think that it's incredibly important that people like myself and people like Billy Caldwell have legal access to it, and Charlotte doesn't have to go to Canada to get it. They need to be allowed access to it here in this country. Why is this country exporting tons of cannabis into different countries in the world? Why is the government ministers, partners, allowed to grow cannabis which is shipped to different countries, but yet we're denied it as British patients, as British citizens? It's an absolute crazy world that we live in, and it really needs to change.
The supply, the cannabis that you use, Clark, where do you get that from?
Yes. I have to source mine on the black market. I have applied for Sativex with the support of my neurologist, my MS nurse and my GP, but I've been denied it. So I'm now forced to break the law. I'm forced to go to the black market to obtain my cannabis, and it's not right. People like me, people with serious health conditions, don't need to be looking over their shoulder worrying about the police or anything like that. We need to be focused on getting well. Cannabis is proven to be a medicine. We know that it works. If I was in many different other countries, same with Billy and all the other children, they would have access to cannabis as a medicine, and we really need it. It's not right that people are forced onto the black market. People are forced to deal with unscrupulous people to obtain the medicine that they need.
And what do you make of the fact that the government are now saying that a review will be completed within months?
I mean, it's good news. It's good news that they're taking it seriously. But again, it's Theresa May really needs to listen. It's Theresa May that seems to be holding this up, and because of this religious issue that she seems to think that cannabis is bad. We really need to get out of this, and we need to base our policy on evidence, and the evidence is clear that cannabis is medicine, so we really need to change the law to reflect that.
Clark French from the United Patients Alliance. Clark, good to talk to you on the show tonight. I don't know whether you agree with all or some of what Clark has said. Certainly, for certain illnesses, and clearly it helps Billy Caldwell, and it helps Clark as well. So if you have MS, then cannabis for medicinal use. We talked about it for quite a while in this country. Should it be changed? Should the law be changed completely?
All Flags on BBC WM 95.6 radio for the West Midlands.